Hello and welcome everyone to the Smart Move to UK. We are a UK immigration law firm based in India, and our solicitors and lawyers are qualified from the UK and have an expertise of over 15 years in all matters concerning UK visas and nationality laws. We provide legal advice and full representation services for filing UK visa applications and also filing for reviews and appeals if in case there is a UK visa refusal. Today, we had a chance to interview our UK qualified solicitor, Ms. Falguni Parekh, who has answered the most frequently asked question by our clients in terms of the eligibility criteria, the requirements in the process of the business visas, and how can one expand their business to the UK, open a branch, or just start a new business altogether in the UK. What is the process to set yourself up, and what does it require when you think of immigration, and when you look at it from an immigration point of view, what are the essentials that are mandatory in this process? So she has answered 10 most frequently asked questions by our clients, and you will see them soon. Before we begin, let me give you a little background about Falguni Parekh. She's a UK qualified solicitor and has assisted clients in 26 plus countries and has over 1,000 success stories to her name. She's the pro when it comes to UK immigration and nationality laws. She also has an expertise of around 2 decades, so you know now where you should go when you are in need of a UK visa advisor. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Ashni. I'm excited to be back again with you on this particular video.
Thank you so much. And as you can see, we have a huge list of questions sent to us from our clients. And we'll begin with the first one, which is asked by Mr. Siddharth. So he has said that there's one Singapore-based IT company and they have set up a branch in the UK now, and Siddharth has agreed to buy the equity of that company, and he's going to manage the operations in London. So he wants to know what visa category will you suggest him?
Siddharth, in your case, you have different options, and it also depends upon little more information that we need before we advise. But hypothetically, few kind of situations that could be possible. A, perhaps the entity in the UK is already established, or you may be looking into a possibility of hiring people within UK. Then in that case, you can apply for a UK sponsorship license and then subsequently do an application for skilled worker visa for yourself. Or alternatively, an evaluation and assessment can be made to find out if you qualify for UK expansion worker visas. So there are different options available, and you need to kind of, depending upon the situation that you are into and your company is into, you can consider these particular options here.
Right. So thank you, ma'am. And another one we have from Mr. Satya, and he wants to know about UK expansion worker visa, and does he have to show any funds and any minimum turnover for his company?
So again, a very interesting question, and again a question that we've been asked a lot of times by our clients who intend to set themselves up. And if you go back to the gov.uk website, you would realize that there's really no mention about is there a particular turnover that they're looking out for, or there's no definite amounts that's been published in terms of the funds that they would require to do a business. So unlike the previous categories, like for instance the entrepreneur visas was very categorical. The businesses had to show £200,000 to enter under the category or qualify as one of the qualifying criteria. But for the current categories which are available, there is no set specifications available. It all depends upon which industry you're into. It also depends upon what kind of an expansion you're looking to do in the UK. And depending upon those factors, what are the kind of expenses that you think you're going to incur, or what kind of an investment your business will require for the purposes of expansion. This is something that each individual company will need to evaluate. You need to also have a business plan and substantiate through your business plan in terms of what kind of an investments, therefore, your business particularly will require for this expansion that you're looking in the UK, and then decide the funds. So to answer your question, no, Siddharth, there's really no definite kind of amounts being published, and it will very much differ from industry to industry. For instance, if it's a hospitality industry, and you're looking to set up your expansion for one of your branches there, then obviously it's more human resource driven. You would probably have a bigger kind of investment amounts required for setting up yourselves there, or having a restaurants or hotels being set up, etc. Whereas if you are a manufacturing company who's just looking for a marketing, say, office or a marketing branch or subsidiary, then perhaps you don't need that kind of funds, which in hospitality industry would have required to set themselves up. So it would differ from industry to industry, and also differ with what kind of an expansion plans do the companies have, and the business plan that you have, what kind of expenses are you estimating there. So I hope this is of help.
We hope this helped you, Satya, and moving on to our third question. So ma'am, how can a sole proprietor set up or start his own business in the UK, and what will be the process like, what they have to do?
Actually, this is a very good question, I would say, to begin with, and I think with the changes in the policies that happens, sometimes it does bring an advantage to small businesses, especially sole proprietor ownership businesses, and sometimes the sole proprietor ownerships are also doing quite well for themselves, and expansion worker visa category is one such category that allows sole proprietors to nominate their own selves to be present in the UK, to set their branch or subsidiary and set up their operations in the UK and expand in the UK. So expansion worker visa does have that kind of an advantage for a sole proprietor.
Okay, so we have next from Mr. Vaibhav, and he already has a pharmaceutical manufacturing setup in India, and now he wants to start a manufacturing trading company in the UK. So what kind of a visa will he require? Because pharmaceutical does come into health and care, so there's a lot of confusion between expansion or health and care. So what visa will we suggest for a pharmaceutical company?
So health and care, definitely Ashni wouldn't be an option available for him, because those category of visas are predominantly for professionals who provide services, and I understand from your question that he's a business owner and is looking from the business perspective to say on how does he set his business there, being in manufacturing or from the trading of pharmaceutical company that he is into. He can look into evaluating or can do an assessment to find out if he qualifies for an expansion worker visas. He can also look into a possibility of recruiting people within the UK and subsequently filing an application for a skilled worker visas. So that could be a multiple options again available with him, depending upon the long-term objectives of the company and the other aspects which would be there. He can choose one of those categories.
Okay. So moving on, we have one question from Miss Kirti, and she wants to start a business in the UK where entrepreneur visa is now being closed. So she wants to go on an innovator visa, and she wants to know how we can help her with her innovator visa application. And she does have £50,000 as investment ready, but what is the other things that she will require to get into her innovator visa?
I think here, Kirti, I would advise you to think this through before you make an application, because when you do an innovator visas, you need to demonstrate that your business ideas is innovative,
Right.
it's scalable, and it's viable. All these three requirements have to be met in. There's an endorsing bodies. You need to send out your application to the endorsing body, and they would do an assessment to see if you meet those criteria or not. I would say you should only pursue this application if you think you're meeting the innovative idea and is viable and scalable. It's then the right time to do the application there.
Right. So, though she has the investment amount, but the main criteria would be meeting the innovative, viable, and scalable business plan, and then also having endorsement.
Absolutely. And in case if this is not happening, because you know your business well, and we unfortunately don't have any information about what kind of a business is she into, you need to speak to qualified immigration advisors. You could also reach out to Smart Move to UK and check if there is possibility for other alternative options that can be available for you to do if innovator is not the answer. But also good to double check whether how innovator visas can help you to set up in the UK. So when you are consulting a specialist or an advisors or solicitors, you need to get it double checked, giving them more information about your businesses to see if you really qualify for an innovator visas. If not, then they will be in a better position to assess your situation and advise you on what can be the other alternatives that you can look into to apply yourself in the UK or set yourself up, set a business in the UK.
Thank you, Kirti, for your question. So for our next question, Mr. Arun has asked us, he's into manufacturing business in India and they're doing it on proprietorship basis. So can he qualify for an innovator visa, and if not for an innovator visa, what route will you suggest him?
So Arun, yours is a trickier one here. Being into manufacturing and looking into applying as an innovator is the important criteria is to prove innovation in your manufacturing process.
Right.
So unless there is that particular aspect when you are making an application, which again to show that it's an innovative way of processing, again something which is viable and scalable to qualify under the category, you need to make an application to an endorsing body explaining on how you meet all these criteria to qualify your application. But to best of my experience and expertise, I found this a bit trickier to do it unless again we don't have any information if there is any innovation in the process which stands out to your particular manufacturing company within your industry. So again, that assessment needs to be done, and you need to speak to somebody who is professional to be sure that you're doing the right thing here. But alternatively, you can look into doing a expansion worker visas again, because the restriction which was previously there on a sole representative visas, which didn't permit the sole proprietors or sole owners of the businesses to make an application, has been done away with in the current expansion worker visas. And you can consider, if you meet other criteria and you qualify, then you can consider doing an expansion worker visa application for yourself, and then subsequently switch to a skilled worker visas within UK. And as far as the cost is concerned, to do an application, it depends upon what kind of an assistance you're looking out for. So if you're just looking out for an assistance to do an entry clearance application, or you also need further assistance and in-country support, so the cost can vary, and it can be customized depending upon the level of assistance required, and I'm sure that can be worked out.
Right. So I hope, Mr. Arun, you're able to use the UK expansion worker visa to your advantage. And next we have Candice, who has shared her query asking that she is already in the UK on a sponsored skilled worker visa for 5 years, and she would like to know if her dependent husband can start a business in the UK.
Yes, Candice. So the dependent have no restrictions when they join in with the main applicant in the UK. So to answer your question, the dependent can start their businesses in the UK. They can work full-time, part-time, freelance, they can upgrade their qualifications. So there's no restriction whatsoever for your husband to start up in the UK.
Thank you, Candice, for sending in your query. So, Deepika has asked us, what is the criteria to switch from a UK expansion worker visa to a UK skilled worker visa, and is it necessary that you switch to a skilled worker visa within 1 year's period of time? So, how does that happen?
So, Deepika, it depends upon whether you're still with the same company when you're looking to switch. And if your answer is yes, you're with the same company, then you can switch your status to the skilled worker visas by adding a subcategory to your sponsorship license and switch your status. Again, it's not mandatory that you have to do it in 12 months. What I mean to say is you do get an extension for further 12 months. So you get about 2 years to set your company up in the UK. Once you've done that there, you probably would also be hiring few people to work with you, making your own team, etc. You can take that time and then you can kind of switch your status to the skilled worker visa. So you get about 24 months to do that there. And once you have this in place, you can switch your status to skilled worker visas.
Deepika, I hope this helps you. Moving on, we have our next question wherein the attendee has asked us how easy it is to start a business in the UK.
Starting a business anywhere in the world is not easy. But I would say at least there's an easiness in doing a business in the UK.
Right.
And as an entrepreneur, yes, you have to be brave enough to make those decisions to start. But once you start, there's quite a lot of support which is available in terms of getting the right kind of resources, right kind of a talent. Within UK, that is very easily that you find a lot of talents which are from different industries that can help your business to grow. Operational support, the easement with which the policies of the government helps you. You also have a lot of technology support. It's quite advanced in terms of the technological supports that is been provided to the businesses in the UK, etc. So I think overall it makes it very easy for businesses to flourish in the UK. More so, the survival rate of businesses is very high. Almost 50% of the businesses survive. I think this is good information and statistics for you to make those decisions to start your business in the UK.
Thank you, ma'am. So for the last question for today's video, we have a health professional who's looking to start a clinic in the UK on a Tier 2 visa. So is that possible?
Tier 2 visas. Okay, so if you've already been granted a Tier 2 visas, you need to really look into your job codes. You really need to look into your COS, and then we can probably answer this question. You need to be very, very mindful that you're not violating the immigration rules under which you're allowed to enter, live and work in the UK. Yes, you can start up clinics in the UK. So unlike there are restrictions in UAE, for instance, where you need a local partner, then and only then you can start up. There are no such restrictions in the UK. However, as I said, that you have to be very mindful about what your COS said, what is it that you're allowed to do under the responsibilities that you're being assigned. And once you're sure that you have permissions under your Tier 2 COS that you've been assigned, is then when you can kind of start. Alternatively, you could invest in an existing company and eventually switch your status to the skilled worker visas is what you can do. So again, there's not much of an information here in terms of what is the Tier 2 COS that the applicant has and what does therefore it permits. But yes, sometimes people have been nominated to undertake that job duty and responsibility. Therefore, you're permitted if you've picked up the relevant code that allows you to do such job duties and responsibilities in the UK.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and we hope your questions were answered. Thank you so much for answering them, and we're sure that our viewers have got insights into how you can set yourself up in the UK, how you can take your business to the UK, and what goes behind the whole immigration process and what will you require. We will be coming soon with more such insightful videos, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, and thank you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you so very much for having me here.